I was remembering one of my gurus. His name was Kyabje Traung Rinpoche. And during one teaching, I'm quite sure it was during the teaching on the Guru Puja, on these verses. And he was saying, before you do anything, the first thing you need to do in order to realize anything is to wish it, is to desire it. So in order for us to realize anything, the first thing that we need to do is we need to want that thing. We need to wish for it. We need to direct our mind to it. So before we can do anything, first thing is to put in the mind in that direction. Okay. And then he was referring to the actual meditation on the gradual path to enlightenment, because some of us may say, okay, isn't it better that I familiarize myself with what the level in which I am? For example, now I need to familiarize myself with the preciousness of this birth. Okay, that's the point that I need to put energy. What's the point now on meditating on emptiness if I have not yet reached that level? It's better for me just to focus on the preciousness of this life. In one way, yes. In another way, no. Which means, yes, we need to put most of our energy in the point that we still need to develop, at which level we are. On the other side, it's important for us to meditate on the whole complete path to enlightenment, to familiarize ourselves with all the steps. It's like if we need to go to a path, and now we have only done the first few meters, but we have a long path to go. Sure, we need to walk in the place where we are, but still, we can start preparing ourselves and say, okay, after 10 kilometers there will be a mountain, and then I need to go up to the mountain, then I go down, then there is a lake, after the lake I go through a village, after the village there is one whole valley that I go through, I go down into a valley, and like this we go on. This is in the map. We haven't seen it yet, but we start already to imagine it. We start to memorize the map. We start to get acquainted with the map. The more we are acquainted with the map, the easier it will become once we get there. Okay? Otherwise, what happens is that once we get to the actual place, how it was, where it was, we don't know exactly, and so on. This is one thing. The other thing is that there is the danger also for us losing our way because we forget that there is a path to follow. We forget that it's possible to go through it. So to understand all the steps is also very beneficial because it helps us to understand that it's possible to reach enlightenment. That enlightenment is actually something that we go step by step. It's not something that just comes out of the blue. It's not like that. It's something that we have step by step as we move along to reach enlightenment. Okay? So in this part of the text, what we'll do is that every verse is helping us to familiarize ourselves with each one of the steps on the path to enlightenment. Okay? It is said that the great masters following Atisha, they were able to reveal the stages of the path, which means like in this text, verse 84 to verse 114, without needing to recite anything. They had all the steps that they need to go to enlightenment in their mind, and they could reveal the whole path to enlightenment in the time necessary to ride a horse, to go on top of a horse, to put one foot on one side of the saddle and to go on top of the saddle. That's what the time they needed to reveal the whole path, which means that they were extremely familiarized with the whole path. So it's important for us to remember it, to familiarize our mind with it, so we understand that it is actually possible. So the point that we have concluded this morning, it's up to verse 88, and it means the part which regards renunciation, which is love towards ourselves, is the part in which we understand that really what we wish for ourselves is to be free from suffering, to be free from hatred, from aversion, from jealousy, from envy, from selfishness, and ultimately from ignorance. In other words, we wish to be happy, to live in harmony, in peace, independently of the conditions in which we are, independently of the place, with whom, in what situation I find myself. So this is a wonderful goal that we can put to ourselves. And to love means to wish happiness. So once we have this clear idea of happiness, it's a more clear idea of love that we have towards ourselves. Okay? So this is what we call the small and the medium scope, and it's the first step, which is loving ourselves. Now we go on with the other steps that we have on the path to enlightenment. Okay? Okay, verse number 89. Nyamda drowa digun dagi ma yang yang tingi kyang pe tsul samne duk pe pula tsewe ma shintu chomi nyingje kewara jingilob. At this part of the text, we get to what is called the great scope. And the great scope is that after having generated a mind in which we want truly to be free from the sufferings of samsara, we start looking around ourselves and we start seeing other sentient beings. And as we look to them, really, we will see so much suffering existing around us. And when we look to the suffering of others, our own suffering becomes so small, so meaningless, so insignificant. Because comparing to the sufferings of everyone around us, our own suffering is really nothing. So when we really start looking at this, we say, okay, just to take care of my own happiness, that's not enough. Just to do something for myself, that's not enough. I must do something for others. But when we start opening our heart for others and looking at the suffering of others and feeling the connection with others and really wishing for their happiness, the first moment, I believe, is quite frustrating. Because I want to help everyone and I have no idea how. How many times happen in our lives that we want to help one person that is very near to us, that we know so well, our mother, our father, our son, daughter, friend, whoever, and we have no idea how to do it? How difficult it is to help someone to help himself. It's extremely difficult. But when we want so much to help others and we have no idea how to do, we may get quite frustrated. And the only way out that we can find, the only solution is, I must develop my own qualities. I must become a Buddha myself. I must develop the wisdom through which I can have the key, and I know where is the keyhole to help each and every one. Because very often we ask people saying, oh, I want to help him, but he doesn't want my help. That's not true. I don't know how to help him. I don't know the right way how to talk to him. I don't know his language. I don't know how to get. I don't have the key and I don't know where is the keyhole. So what do I need? I need wisdom. And this is something that only a Buddha can have in this way, in order to help every sentient being. So, the only solution that I find is I must reach enlightenment in order to help everyone. There is no other way out. The only way is reaching enlightenment so that I can really help every sentient being. And this is when we develop bodhicitta, which is the mind of enlightenment. Bodhi means enlightenment, citta means mind. So the mind that goes to enlightenment. And there are three different ways of developing such mind. In the moment that we develop the mind. It's called the bodhicitta like the king, the bodhicitta like the shepherd, and the bodhicitta like the boatman. And basically, what happens is that the bodhicitta like the king is the intention, first I will reach enlightenment, then I will take everyone else with me. The bodhicitta like the shepherd is a bodhicitta in which we say, first I will take all sentient beings to enlightenment, then I will reach enlightenment myself. And then there is the bodhicitta like the boatman, which is like in the same way when you enter into a boat and you go from one side to the other side of the river. I will take all sentient beings together with me to enlightenment. We will reach enlightenment together. In a practical level, bodhicitta is always the king-like bodhicitta. It's always first I need to reach enlightenment, then I can help others. There is no other way. But in the moment of the intention, it can be differently. It can be the intention, I must do something for others. So first I will do for others, then I will do it for myself. Okay? But the point is that bodhicitta is always a bodhicitta as the king, because I first need to develop in a practical way. First I must develop my own qualities so that after I can help others. There is no other way around. Okay? In our own lineage, there are two different methods to develop bodhicitta, which are called the 7 causes and result to develop bodhicitta, and the exchanging oneself for others. Okay? Gyunre menga dun dan dakshen nyamchegi gone lo jongwa. We can train our mind to develop bodhicitta by doing the 7 causes and result, or by by exchanging oneself with others. In the text of the Guru Puja, Panchen Losang Gyaltsen gives more emphasis to exchanging oneself with others, but he also refers to the 7 causes and result of developing bodhicitta. Okay, so the verse 89 starts talking about the 7 causes and result to develop bodhicitta. So let's go a little bit through it. Nyamda drowe dikun dagi ma yang tingi kyang pe tsul samne dukpe pula tsewe mashin tu chumi ningje kewar jingi lob. Having considered how all these pitiful beings have been our mothers and have raised us in kindness again and again, we seek your blessings to develop unaffected compassion like that of a loving mother for the precious child. First point, how many lives have we had? Infinite lives. Okay, we have no explanation how many lives actually we had. If someone helped me very much now, and someone helped me in the same way 20 years ago, to whom should I feel more gratefulness? Who is more kind to me? The one that did right now, or the one that helped me 20 years ago? Is there any difference? Actually not. There's no expiry date in kindness. Okay? So, if someone helped me very much in this life, and someone else helped me very much in my past life, is there any difference of the kindness that the two have to me? Actually not. In every life, most of our lives, we had a mother. Only if we were born in a miracle way, or if we were born like some types of bacteria or something like that, we had no mothers. Otherwise, we always had mothers, okay? And every time we had a mother, just as in this life, the mother is the one that is taking care of us with love and kind. Sure, there can be some exceptions. But anyhow, the mother is the one that makes us to survive normally. Some people, when I talk about this, they say, oh, but my mom, she's the one that wanted to have me. That's her problem. Why should I feel so much gratefulness to her? Why should I feel so much gratitude towards her? She's the one that wanted to have me. You know? And that's her business, you know. I have nothing to do with it. Independently of that. Independently of the fact that my mother wanted or not to have me. Other people say, oh, my mother didn't even want to have me. She had no choice but to keep me, and so on and so on. If my mother wanted or not wanted to have me, if she took care of me with joy or with suffering, the fact is that if it was not for her taking care of me when I was a little child, or who did it on her behalf, I would not be here today to tell anything. Okay? You take a just born child. Is the child able to survive alone? How many years we need of care before we're able to survive by ourselves? I don't know. A few years there. Okay, for sure. And who was taking care of us? Now if someone help us when we need some little help, oh, thank you, you are so kind to me. Then when we had the most need, that we are completely unprotected and we could not take care of ourselves, someone was taking care of us. It doesn't matter how much was the joy or suffering or why the person did. The fact is that the person did. Similar like when I would say, oh, we must feel the gratitude towards the teachers. Because if it was not for my teachers, I could not be able to read nowadays. And someone may say, why do I need to feel gratitude for my teacher? He was being paid to do that job. I was the one that put effort to learn. He didn't do much to me. And even whatever he did it because it was his own job, not because he wanted to help me. The fact is that even though it may be like that, still he taught me. And still, I know because he taught me. So one thing doesn't have to do with the other. The gratitude that I should have is not connected with the fact if he wanted to teach me or not. The gratitude that I should have for my mom has nothing to do with the fact that she wanted to have me or not. If she did it, she took care of me with joy or not. It's two separate things. Then if she did it to took care of me with joy and love, much better. But still she took care of me. And in the same way I had a mother in this life, I had a mother in every life that came before. Most of them. So, by making some simple logics, we had so many lives and so many mothers, so many fathers, so many young brothers and sisters and cousins and lovers and friends, and we can put everything that you like in this category. So I was the mother of every one of you at some point. And every one of you were my mother at some point. That's why when we say mother sentient beings, because everyone at some point was our mother and was our child, our father, our husband, our wife, and so on, which means like all types of relations. Husband, wife is something modern, so like we cannot put this in the millions in existence of years that have been there already, no? But mother for sure. But the fact is that basically, first thing is to recognize that we have a connection with everyone. Second point, Chindrempa. Everyone have done something to me. Good. Third point, Chinsoa. I must have gratitude and I must repay back the kindness for what I have received. Fourth point, developing loving sympathy. Yitwoma, Yuongi Champa. I wish you have helped me. I have gratitude for that. I feel I must do something for you, and I wish you to be happy. From that, we develop the next step, which is compassion, Nyingje. I wish you to be free from every form of suffering. But this is still what I call passive compassion. We still need to go to Laksam, which is the extraordinary state, intention, extraordinary intention, which means I will do anything which is necessary to take you out of suffering, which is active compassion. It's like if this cup is falling down from the table, passive compassion is, oh, I don't want the cup to fall down, I'm so sorry for it, I really don't want. Active compassion is I see the cup falling down, I run to the table to stop it from falling. And I do anything I can to stop it from falling. So, once we develop active compassion towards sentient beings, we have not yet developed bodhicitta. We are in a good step for it, but not yet there. What we miss is the mind of enlightenment, which means to believe in ourselves. We have already developed the mind that wishes to get out, to help other sentient beings to get out of suffering, but we don't know yet how. And here comes the first point in which we could be quite frustrated, because it's like, I love everyone. And when we talk about the bodhicitta, it's like to be like the mother for his only child. And for example, let's imagine a mother that have only one child and the child is drowning or is burning in the middle of a fire. And what would the mother do? Just watch and stand there? We will do anything necessary, even if this means burning herself. Similar to that, a bodhisattva should have this great intention of loving everyone and like, I will do anything necessary. And the only conclusion in which we can get finally is, I must develop my own qualities. So, when the bodhisattva believes in his own ability to reach enlightenment, to help others, when the bodhisattva takes upon himself truly the responsibility, that's when he becomes a truly bodhisattva. That's when someone develops truly bodhicitta, which is the deep wish for enlightenment. That's when it happens. Otherwise, before that, it's just in the state of compassion, which is already wonderful. But the compassion, it becomes bodhicitta in the moment that there is the true dedication and true certainty, believing in oneself, I can reach enlightenment and I will reach enlightenment for the benefit of others. That's when we develop the actual bodhicitta. So as the verse says, having considered how all these pitiful beings have been our mothers and have raised us in kindness again and again, We seek your blessings to develop an unaffected compassion, like that of a loving mother for their precious child. One interesting thing that I was just referring before, on this process is the process of feeling more near to others, of getting the connection with others. And it's strange enough, but anyhow, it's a sad truth. We human beings, we get more connected to others when we have a common enemy than when we have a common friend. We can see this in history so many times. We have so many examples of this in our daily life and in a more great, bigger context. Okay? But the fact is that when there is someone that has the same sickness as ours, someone that is the same difficult situation as ours, do we create some connection with that person? Yes. We feel something. There is some empathy there. Okay. What happened is that we are all in the same situation. We think we are different. But if we would all go to the doctor, okay, finally he will put everyone in the same department. We go to Buddha. Oh, Buddha, I am not feeling well. And then Buddha will come like a doctor and he'll say, okay, here, let's see what is your symptoms. What are your symptoms? So I'll give a diagnosis. Oh, you have this sickness which is called selfishness, which is created by the virus of ignorance. Department number 10. Okay, and what happened after? We all go there thinking we are different, each one thinking, oh, because we have different haircuts, we are different. And then when we go there, finally we find everyone in the same room, okay, with more or less the same treatment. So, we all have the same problem. We are at the same level. In a deeper level, we all have exactly the same thing. We are here because of our ignorance, our hatred, aversion, attachment, and so on. And we have different haircuts and we think we are so different. But actually, truly, there is not much difference between us. We are there suffering by the same stupid mechanisms. We are quite simple actually. We are all completely different from one side, but when we look more deeply, come on. There is not much need to understand human beings, really. Once you understand one, you understand almost all. Okay? So, finally, we are in the same situation, so why not to help each other? Why not to feel the connection between us? Because we are on the same boat. We are on the same path. So one of the points here to develop bodhicitta is to deeply, truly create the connection with others and feel we are together. We may speak different languages, we may have different faces and so on, but we are on the same situation. Okay? It's like this. And it's incredible, but we create much more connection when we have something that is like an enemy in common than a friend in common. And then what happens is that when the enemy is gone, then we can become enemies between ourselves. But until the time that we have an enemy in common, we join our forces. It's actually quite sad. But it happens a lot. So let's at least try to use this in our favor. And understand that we all are here because we are being, harmed by the same enemies, which is called selfishness and ignorance. So, let's help each other. We are in the same position. We are in the same place. Okay? So this part of the text, which is referring, this part of the path actually, it's really opening our heart to others and feeling the connection. Also another thing, if it was not for others, how could we be here today? How many things depend on others? Just for us to be here now, for the lights to be on, for there to be heating, for us to be in this place, how many people need to work for that? But I pay them for that. And so what? We think very often that because we pay, we should not have any gratitude. One thing has nothing to do with the other. And very often I see people, they prefer to pay, otherwise they feel that they are in debt with the other person. In debt with the other person because, you are making a favor to me, so I don't want to receive your favor, otherwise after I need to do something for you. Once I receive something from you, paying or not paying, I should be in gratitude. I should have gratitude towards you. I have receiving something from you. So, similar to that, if we look, everything that we do in life depends on others. So it's so important to feel the connection that is between all of us, and to be together, and to do something for others in this sense. Okay? So now, Panchen Losang Chökyi Gyaltsen put emphasis in the Guru Puja on the part where it refers to developing the mind of bodhicitta by following the practice, the system of exchanging oneself with others, just as taught in the 7 points mind training by Geshe Chekawa, okay, according to the Kadampa tradition. So, the first part regards developing the bodhicitta and exchanging oneself with others. And we go from verse number 90 to verse number 94. And then the number 95 is already the meditation itself of exchanging oneself with others, of giving and taking. Anyhow, so let's go first to these verses as it says. Dungal tramot samya midyo chin delan namya choshe mebani dadan shenla kebar yomeshe shende gawa kebar jingelo rangni chebar zimbe chone di midyo dunga gebe gyurtone lendela kondo sunchete dazen tunchen chombar jingelo manan chesun dela gobelo taye yonten jume gortone drova di dadagi darlankan sole chebar zimbra jingelo torna chipa rangdon konadan tuban shendon bashi zebai kyondan yönden yewa tokpelo dashen yemche nubra jingilo rani chebar zimbe rani chinzin kuba kungego mana chezi yönden kungeshi techer dashen jewe neljola nyamle nimbo chebar jingilo tena chetson lama tujeche magyo drove dirip dunga ku malo tata dala mimbadan dagi dege shenla tawai drogun dedan dempra jingilo. Okay. Verse number 90 to 94, 95. There is no difference between ourselves and others. None of us wishes even the slightest of suffering, nor is even content with the happiness we have. Realizing this, we seek your blessings, that we may enhance the bliss and joy of others. This chronic disease of cherishing ourselves is the cause that gives rise to our unsought suffering. Perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and destroy the monstrous demon of selfishness. The mind that cherishes all mother beings and would secure them in bliss is the gateway leading to infinite virtue. Seeing this, we seek your blessings to cherish these beings more than our lives, even should they rise up as our enemies. In brief, infantile beings labor only for their own end, while Buddhas work solely for the welfare of others. With a mind understanding the distinctions between the failings of one and the advantages of the other, we seek your blessings to enable us to equalize and exchange ourselves for others. Since cherishing ourselves is the doorway to all torment, while cherishing our mothers is the foundation of all that is good, we seek your blessings to make our core practice the yoga of exchanging of self and others. And thus, O venerable and compassionate gurus, we seek your blessings that all karmic debts, obstacles, and sufferings of all mother beings, sufferings of mother beings, may, without exception, ripen upon us right now, that we may give our happiness and virtue to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. The first step in order to develop the mind of bodhicitta and exchange ourselves with others is to develop equanimity. is to understand that there is no difference between us and others. Sure, there are many differences. Now, using the examples before, we have different haircuts, we come from different cultures, we have different ideas, different experiences, we have different knowledge, different feelings, and many, many things completely different. But actually, we are so similar. On the basis, there is not much difference. Once you know well one person, you know most of them. And even animals are not that different. Huh? Okay? It's the basic psychology is so simple. Okay? And the basic is what? Verse number 90. There is no difference between ourselves and others. None of us wishes even the slightest of sufferings, nor is even content with the happiness we have. We don't wish suffering, and we are not happy with the happiness we have. We are not content with the happiness we have. In other words, everyone wants to be free from suffering and wants to be happy. This is exactly the same for each and every one of us. No difference at all. Okay? I think it's quite clear, no? And what makes us even more similar is that we do everything we do thinking is the best for our own happiness, guided although by our own ignorance. No? Sometimes we look to people, and have we ever seen anyone doing things that looks like they want to suffer more? Somehow, yes. How many times we see people doing things that would just bring more suffering? Why? Because we have ignorance. And very often for me, like looking around, there is one text where Atisha explains something similar to that. Looks like we are in a big competition to see who suffers more. Okay? But actually it's just because we are ignorant. And we do our best to be happy, but we have no idea how. Where to start from. What to do. So from this point of view, what difference is there between us and others? We all suffer. We all want to be happy. And we do each and everything we do thinking it's truly the best thing for our own happiness. So the first step is to develop this equanimity, is that when we see others, we look to the other and say, okay, there is no difference between you and me. We are in the same level. We are in the same situation. So this doesn't mean that we are already loving everyone, but at least we understand that we are in the same position. We make no difference between one or other. Okay? Then this reminds me one verse, which is chapter number 8, verse 88 or 87, I think, of the Bodhisattva Charyavatara. As it says something like this. From the moment that everyone around me wishes to be free from suffering in the same way as I wish to be free from suffering, what is there so special in me that I only take care of my suffering? In the moment that everyone around me wishes to be happy, just in the same way as I wish to be happy, what is there so special in me that I only take care of my happiness? What's the answer? Nothing. Okay. So the answer is we are selfish. We think about our own well-being. And the main point that comes after that is understanding that our own selfishness is the main cause of our suffering. That's what is actually generating all our suffering and conflicts and difficulties. What is making all of that? Selfishness. So, as Pinche Rinpoche says, verse number 91, this chronic disease of cherishing ourselves, of this we call selfishness also as the obsession of self-gratification. Okay? This chronic disease of cherishing ourselves is the cause that gives rise to our unsought suffering. Perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and destroy the monstrous demons of selfishness. Which means, what is the main cause of my suffering? Selfishness. How does this work? Suffering is the sensation of suffering. It's basically every sensation we have, we want it to end as soon as possible and not to come back. That's suffering. Where is suffering coming from? Anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, attachment, and satisfaction, and so on. These defilements, they are coming from where? From attraction and aversion. So every time we enter in contact with an object that makes us happy, that we feel that we believe that object makes us happy, what is our reaction? Attraction. Attachment, desire, jealousy, and so on. And whenever we enter into with an object that makes us suffering, that we see as making us suffering, what we develop? Aversion. Anger, hatred, all forms of violence, and so on. Okay? So what happens from that is that this attraction and this aversion are coming from where? From the obsession of self-gratification. Are coming from the fact that I am the most important thing that has ever existed, that exists, and that will ever exist in the whole universe. Everything exists around me. I am the center of everything. We are totally unable to look at situations beyond the eyes of our own I and my. It's like if we look to everyone and to everything with our own glasses of selfishness. It's not like sometimes we take the glasses out and we say, oh, how nice. No, we are like fixed with them, Never take them out. And if it ever happens to take them out for an instant, we see such a beautiful world. Because it's the other way around. Now, my glasses, for example, make me see things more clear. If I take out the glasses, then I start having problems. But what happens is that the glasses of selfishness, they make the other way around. They make us to be short-view, like we cannot see much. We just see around here. No? It reminds me, for example, when we had our Western doctors going to Nepal once in the clinic we have there, and they had eye doctors, and then they would bring glasses to people, and people came in there, oh, I have a problem, I don't see. They were like maybe in their 40s or 50s, whatever, and they had like -8 on their sight, and then they put them glasses, and then they were saying a miracle happened, and these people were so happy. No? It's similar to the fact that we have all passed our whole life thinking that it's normal to see only the I and the my. We think this is normal. But actually this is what creating our attraction, aversion, our hatred, attachment, desire, and all our suffering that is coming out of it. Where is this selfishness coming from? From ignorance. From the grasping at inherent existence. From not understanding that we are totally interdependent with everything else. So we see ourselves as being completely separated from everything else, and from that it's coming selfishness. That brings attraction and aversion, that brings all other forms of defilements, that brings suffering. Okay? So basically, it's the first thing that we need to do here is the equanimity. Second is recognize that selfishness is the greatest of our enemy. Even though selfishness may appear as our friend, truly is our enemy. It's like self-healing number 1, where the Lama teaches. First step, recognize who are your true friends or your true enemies. So, selfishness is a fake friend. Selfishness is an enemy. Okay? And if we start looking around, all the conflicts of this world, where are they coming from? Selfishness. So much is done for peace in the world and this and that, at least said to be done. Okay? It would be enough just to take away selfishness. All the rest will fix by automatically. Sure, it's not simple. But I have never seen a resolution in the United Nations to put in the program for the next 20 years goal, diminish the selfishness of the world. It would be nice, actually, no? Okay, we have poverty, we have many wonderful things, but why not make the world a less selfish world? I think it would be actually very nice. I don't think it will make a totally big difference, but it would be nice at least to start talking about it really in a more extensive way. But the point is that very often we don't even recognize it ourselves. So the first thing is recognizing, yes, selfishness, it's harming me. We say inside the teachings of the Lojong, the 7 points mind training, recognize the one as the cause of all. Which is the one that is the cause of all, is selfishness, that is the cause of all suffering. Okay? So, basically, it's very, very important for us to recognize our own selfishness as the main cause of our suffering. This obsession that we have constantly with the I and the my. Because actually, truly, if we analyze, selfishly speaking, thinking about the well-being of ourselves, it's much better to be altruistic. And for me, this is so wonderful because it's the way how the Dharma works. The Dharma uses selfishness to eliminate selfishness itself. Because which are the bases? Are we selfish or not? Now, when we need to choose something, which is our reference point? The I and the my or the whole? The I and the my. When we judge something, if something is good or bad, which is our reference? The I and the my or everyone? The I and the my. So we are selfish. So we start from selfishness. Okay? So what happens with that is that I cannot expect to become altruistic like this. I need to start from where I am, from the basis. And what are the bases? The basis is what I am, what I have. And I am selfish. So, selfishly speaking, it's much better to be altruistic. Selfishly speaking, what creates us all our suffering is actually selfishness itself. So it's better to take care of others. So when we understand this and we start to change our attitude, where? In the way how we speak, in the choices we make, slowly, slowly in our daily life. As it says here, this chronic disease of cherishing ourselves is the cause that gives rise to our unsought suffering. Perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and destroy the monstrous demon of selfishness. So we need to oppose ourselves to selfishness. If we just say, oh, selfishness is not good, and then selfishness, we say, okay, yes, bye-bye, I'm going. It's not going to happen like this. We need to oppose ourselves. We need to fight against selfishness. Because it's a deep, deep habit in our mind. Okay? And the next verse continues saying, showing the benefits of one and the faults of the other. The mind that cherishes all mother beings, the mind of love and compassion towards others, the mind that cherishes all mother sentient beings and would secure them in bliss, is the gateway leading to infinite virtue. All our joy and happiness comes from love and compassion. Seeing this, we seek your blessings to cherish these beings more than our lives, even should they rise up as our enemies. In brief, infantile beings. We are all infantile beings, okay? The description that I like is that we are infantile, cowards, miserable beings. We are infantile because this is the description that is given. We are infantile because we are selfish. So we don't know which is the right way to be happy. So because of our selfishness, we are childish. We are infantile. We are cowards because we have so much fear of suffering. And for fearing suffering, we suffer even much more. Actually, we suffer much more from the fear of suffering than from suffering itself. Okay? And we are miserables, basically as a result of being infantile and cowards. Okay? So, in brief, infantile, cowards, miserable beings labor only for their own end, while Buddhas, pure beings, work solely for the welfare of others. So those that are infantile as me are only taking care of themselves. Those that are beings of wisdom and joy and peace and satisfaction and so on, work only for the welfare of others. With a mind understanding the distinctions between the failings of one and the advantages of the other, the failings of being an infantile, miserable being, and the advantages of being a Buddha, we seek your blessings to enable us to equalize and exchange ourselves for others. It continues saying, Since exchanging ourselves is the door, since cherishing ourselves, which means being selfish, is the doorway to all torment, while cherishing our mothers is the foundation of all that is good, we seek your blessings to make our core practice the yoga of exchanging of self and others. So, if we look well around us, I have never seen a selfish, satisfied person. Someone that is a very selfish person that is very satisfied. I've never seen that. No? Very simple. Take two people in front of you and try to make two categories of people that we know. Selfish people and altruistic people, okay? And then we see who are more happy and who suffer more. My own experience is that the altruistic people that I have met have always been people that really show a lot of satisfaction and joy. While the selfish people, the more the person is selfish, the more I see the person suffering. That's what I have seen up to now. Okay. So basically, which one we want to follow? Which one we want to be? I think the results speak more than the reasons. So based on that, we must eliminate our own selfishness. We must open our heart towards others. And that's the best that we can do. The more that we do it, the better we will feel. So to do that, there is the practice of equalizing and exchanging oneself with others. To equalize oneself with others means there is no more difference between me and you, in the sense of me and others. No more difference between me and others. When I do something for myself, I'm doing it for others. When I do something for others, I'm doing it for myself. Which means, now we live in a duality between doing something for ourselves and others. So what happens? When we do something for ourselves, very often we feel guilty, because we are not taking care of others. When we do something for others, we feel that we are making a sacrifice. Let's take, for instance, Rinpoche. Those that have been Rinpoche have seen Rinpoche more often and so on. Have we ever seen Rinpoche feeling guilty for doing something for himself? Never. Very happy, joyfully, he's happy doing something for himself. And have we ever seen him making a sacrifice to do something for someone else? Helping someone as a sacrifice? Never ever. So this is the point. When we do something for ourselves, we're also doing for others. When we do something for others, we're also doing for ourselves. This is the equalizing. Makes no more difference between the actions for ourselves and for others. And to help us to develop all of this, here comes the meditation of Tonglen, of giving and taking. And we need to train ourselves into this, because we are conditioned into a selfish way of thinking and acting. But first thing, recognize and remember, this is the main cause of our suffering. I don't know, have you ever been angry where the I and the my had nothing to do? Or have you ever been insatisfied where the I and the my had nothing to do? Me not. So really recognize the true cause of my suffering is selfishness. I must eliminate it. It's like, this remembers me, one of the beautiful texts of mind training, which is called The Will of Sharp Weapons. And there is a moment in the beginning of The Will of Sharp Weapons in which Dharmarakshita invokes the Yamantaka, which is the manifestation of wisdom in the wrathful way, which is like looking at ourselves in the eyes and saying to selfishness, no space for you to escape. No more excuses. No, but... No, but. That's how you should do it. No, but. That's how it is. You know, otherwise we get continuously one excuse after the other. Because we are very lazy, many of us. And there are 4 types of laziness, for example, relating to eliminating selfishness. Oh yes, it's so important to eliminate selfishness, but I am not capable. Oh yes, no, sorry, it's so important to eliminate selfishness, but that's difficult. Yes, maybe no, I'm just lazy. When we are declared as lazy, at least we are sincere. Second type of laziness, I must eliminate my selfishness. Yes, I would do, but I start tomorrow. Third type of laziness, I must eliminate my selfishness. It's so important. Yes, I must do it, but now I am busy because I need to watch the movie, I need to do my job, I need to paint this, I need to fight with that person, I'm busy with my own suffering, whatever reason, okay? Then we have the fourth type, which is basically, I must eliminate selfishness. I know this is so important, but I am not capable. Sure, we are capable to do the small steps which we can afford to do. Sure, we are not going to eliminate selfishness like this. But by doing a small step, we all have something that we can do right now. So please, recognize how selfishness is making us suffering, and do something right now, today, slowly, at least to put it aside and say, this is not good. The more I open my heart to others, the better I will be. Okay, so just to conclude this last part in English, the question was about this attitude of being altruistic. Sometimes we may be altruistic in a fake way, like not fake, maybe not the right word, but in an artificial way. Okay? So first thing, making the very short conclusion, it's better to be an artificial altruistic than a natural egoistic. Okay? It's better to be artificially altruistic than being naturally selfish. Okay? Because when we are artificially in a way, gradually it becomes more natural. Okay? Sure, the best and the objective is to be a natural altruistic. This is the best way. But until we don't get there, it's better to be altruistic but artificial than being, okay, I am natural, that's the way how I am, and I am totally selfish and not nice, okay? What happened also is that if we are being altruistic in the wrong way, what will happen is that we will generate more and more the division between taking care of ourselves and others. Which means, when we are not developing altruism in the right way, we'll develop more and more the sense of guilt when we do something for ourselves, and we will develop the sense of doing something we will like, of making a sacrifice when we do something for others, okay? Which is showing we are not going the right way. Together with that, what happens is that the question went on saying, but what about when actually we, so just before that, so the point was, when we develop altruism, even though it's artificial, it's important that we know that we have artificial altruism. Not faking ourselves that we have already reached a total level of art when we have not, okay? And this also means we need to start working on that with the people that are near to us. In the practice of Lojong, it talks about 5 categories, which means our family, the people that we live together, our friends, our people that we work. Then there is the people that we have helped and in exchange have harmed us, and those that we have karmic aversion towards. Okay, these are those to whom we need to start working with altruistic way. Otherwise, I'm just, I love all sentient beings. May everyone be happy with exception of that 5 people that are near to me. That's not working. Okay, we need to be sincere in this process. Okay. The next question was about saying, okay, but sometimes we may have an altruistic attitude because somehow we want to fill up a hole that we feel inside. Okay. What I believe is that one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful feeling, they compete quite well, wisdom and love, but I feel that the feeling of love, it's really special. Okay. When we feel sincere love, it fills us in such a great way. It can really make us feel completely satisfied, completely fulfilled when we feel love. So what happens is that it can happen that at a certain point of our life, we expected to receive love from someone and we didn't. So we make a hole in ourselves, like, okay, something is missing there. So later in our life, we are nice to people when we give love to them, but actually because we want to receive love from them to fill up that hole. So if once again we give love and we don't receive back, then the hole becomes even bigger. Okay? Instead, what's the solution in this case? Is we need to understand and experience that the most beautiful thing is not to receive love, but to give love, is to feel love. And we need to fill up that hole from inside to outside. Once we are able to give love without expecting it back, then we really fill it up completely. Then this gives fully satisfaction and joy. Okay? So I think we can conclude here for today. And I'm very happy that we're going through the Guru Puja with no hurry. Okay? These are very important points. So I think we have another 2 weekends at least about it. Okay? And then we will go on with the text. I don't know when we will conclude it, but at least we go on slowly, step by step, verse by verse. Okay? Jetsun lame kotse raptenchi nam karchin le chochur gepada losan tempe dreme sasumgi drove musel tato ne gyurch nimo dele tsendele nime kuyandele ninse Concho sumge ngodrup sol, concho sumge trashish. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessing. May they help us to achieve all realization and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.